Hi. Oh, here's Kate. Hi. He has a dirty face. You have a dirty face. Yeah, your dirty face. Hi. You're so silly. You're so silly, baby. Hi. You're so silly. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi. This little man. Oh my goodness. I could do a whole channel of just the messes of little Mr. Caden here. He got a bag of mini marshmallows out of the kitchen drawer, and they had a clip on them. So I thought, well, he can't make too much damage, and I was in the middle of some, so I didn't take them from him. But he got the clip off and dumped them, of course, all over the living room. And then he took his bottle, and he doesn't take a bottle very well, but I made him one because sometimes I can get him to take it. So I made him a bottle. And he took the bottle and he turned it upside down on the little side table by the couch and on the arm of the couch and mushed it till all the milk squirted out. So it's all over the couch, all over the couch, and all over the table and all over the floor on top of a bunch of the marshmallows. So there's this big sticky mess. And then, of course, he slipped in the milk and bonked his head. I mean, oh my goodness. There's many, many messes. He's so noisy. Yeah, he's messy. And if you see this all over me, filthy. Yeah, that's my baby wiping his face and his mouth on me. So what did you have for dinner? We had salmon and rice casserole. You're nuts. Yeah, I love you. Rice casserole and steamed broccoli, and then I made fudge today. I mean, yeah, it's Christmas, so I made orange chocolate fudge and butterscotch. What are the nuts? For heaven's sake, not pecans. Walnut butterscotch fudge, and they were really good. So that's what we had for sweet. And that's part of what's on me is the chocolate, because apparently, I did not know this before, he loves fudge. Hi. I had a piece, and it wasn't a really big piece, but I went to take a bite, and he goes, and he just takes it right out of my hand into his mouth, like so fast, whole thing. And for his mouth, it was pretty big piece. Anyway, and then he drooled on me and got it all over me. So yeah, it was messy. He's messy. You're a messy baby. Wow. Yeah, you're a messy baby. Yeah, you're so silly. Yep. I love you. Anyway, and I was saying yesterday I did a pour of resin stuff. I make my resin stuff, and I have a bunch of stuff I made. I won't show you all of it. You're making hamburger patties and asparagus. Yum. I love asparagus. We do a lot of baked asparagus and also asparagus potato soup. It's so good. Anyway, so I made a bunch of stuff, and I won't show it all to you, but I'll show you a few of them. The mushrooms, of course. So cute. So I made a little mushroom. Oh, this one's really cute. I like the colors. Not that one. And then I made this really cute jar. Look at the colors in this. Isn't that cool? I love it. The problem is, and I haven't done a pour for a while, so I wasn't as careful as I am when I do it real often. There was a bubble. So there's one little, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a little piece missing. So I have to sell it at quite a discount because that's dumb. The lid still screws on, but it's kind of dumb to have a bubble in it. But yeah, cute little jar. Unless I just give it to somebody for a gift. You can't, beggars can't be choosers. You can't complain, right? and then I did a bunch of little earrings with the extras. So I did this really cute. I have these really cute charms that I fill with like glitter and resin, so you can see in the light that they're kind of see-through, right? So cute. So did those, about that size. Those feathers. I did these, and I kind of wanted them to look. It'll be a little easier to see without the black background. I wanted them to look a little bit like an ocean wave, kind of, and I like how they looked. They turned out pretty cool, I think. So there's those ones. And then I did a bunch of these tiny ones, and they're so cute. My lighting's bad, I know. You can't see how bright the colors are, but this is two little, a set of, let's kind of fix it, little sparkly clouds on the bottom and 4-leaf clovers on the top. And they're really soft, cute green. They just almost look white in here. But yeah, so I got this set of two. And then I did these teeny ones. Oops, one of them came off. What the heck? The back came off. But these little moons and hearts with the arrows through them. So cute. Oh. Yeah. Here, should we put it on? Here's the other little moon. There it is. Anyway, really cute. Kind of purple and pink. Those turned out cute. And then last one for today, these cute little fans. I'll kind of show you. Because they are clear, like the resin is clear. So on the black, it looks like it's a solid color, but you can kind of see the colors through it. Anyway, I know my camera sucks. It's not that great, but someday I'll have a good setup, right? Just not today. Anyway. Aw, thank you. I'm maybe not so talented, but I do enjoy making my stuff. Anyway, I'm going to be putting all that stuff in my store when I get some time, right? No, you have to come make time for these things. Anyway, so chapter 19, and this is where it's getting intense. So Kit, she helped Hannah escape to the boat, right? But then they came to her house to take her away and say, well, you helped her escape. You're a witch. And they went and locked her up in a shed, and they're going to put her on trial for being a witch. And if they find you guilty, they can hang you, right? So she has no idea what's going to happen. Or they'll cut off, they'll brand your forehead so that you have this mark so everybody can see. Or they'll cut your ear off, you know, as punishment to brand you so that people will know. And stuff like this really did happen back then. I mean, it's crazy, you know. But so she's locked up in the shed, and her Aunt Rachel came to see her. She's all worried about her. It's cute. It's sweet how much her family loves her, even though she didn't know him. She showed up unannounced. She's so different than they are, but even her uncle, you know, loved her, and especially because she worked so hard and took such good care of Mercy when she was sick. And Uncle Matthew loves Mercy a lot, which is really sweet. Almost made me cry. And I do cry sometimes. Look, so if I start crying when it gets emotional, don't judge me. Okay. You're a nut. Yeah, you're so silly. You have a dirty face. You do. You have a dirty face. He's going to have a bath. Yeah, you're dirty. That's right. That's right. Okay. Chapter 19. Hey, are you going to be quiet while I read? You're going to be so quiet. Shh. Okay. The sun had been slanting through the chinks in the shed wall for hours when Kit heard the heavy bolt withdrawn and the shed door. I guess not. And the shed door opened. This time, it was the constable's wife with a wooden trencher of mush. In spite of its dubious appearance, it sent a faint curl of steam into the frosty air, and Kit forced herself to take a few spoonfuls while the woman stood watching, hands on her hips. I reckoned you'd be half froze, the woman observed. To tell the truth, I couldn't sleep half the night thinking of you out here. 'Tis good enough for thieves and drunkards, I says to my man, but 'tis no place for a female, witch or no. I've seen the girl in meeting, I says, sitting there decent as you please, and it goes against reason she could be a witch. There's some folks in this town always bent on stirring up trouble. Kit looked up at her gratefully. 'Twas good of you to send the quilt, she said. How long will they keep me here, do you think? My man has orders to take you to the town house in an hour. Not much longer. So soon. Kit put down the spoon. Too bad our justice system doesn't work that fast. That's one thing. I mean, you know, if you're accused of stuff these days, it could be a year before you get your trial. She just had to sit in a shed overnight. I don't know if that's better or worse. Kit put down the spoon, her stomach curling. What will happen there? The magistrate and the ministers will examine you. If they think you be guilty, they'll send you on to Hartford to wait trial. At any rate, you'll be off our hands. My man and I, we don't relish this work much. We'll be glad when his term is up. Yeah, that would be a fun job. Dad, you're so noisy. Yeah. Kit laid down the trencher in dismay. But I can't go like this. I've been sitting in the dirt all night. The face she lifted to the woman was even sorrier than she realized, streaked with mud and tears. You're no treat to look at, that's sure, the woman admitted. If they took you for a witch right now, I'd scarce blame them. Wait a minute. She went away, taking the precaution of bolting the door. Are you a dog? Woof, woof, woof. She went away, taking the precaution of bolting the door securely, and returned presently with a basin of water and a rough wooden comb. Gratefully, Kit did what she could to make herself respectable. The dress, dirty and crumpled, could not be helped. It required the constable and 2 sturdy members of the watch to conduct a timid witch up Carpenter's Lane, along Broad Street, up Hungry Hill, to the town hall. I love you. Are you serious? Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yep. Up Hungry Hill to the townhouse. The small building seemed full of people as she entered. Benches and chairs along the 2 walls were crowded with men from the town, with here and there a sharp-faced woman, cronies of Goodwife Cruff. At a table at the end of the room sat Captain Samuel Talcott, magistrate from Wethersfield to the General Court of Connecticut, and a group of men whom Kit knew as the town selectmen. Her uncle sat in his place among them, his lips tight, his eyebrows drawn fiercely together. What anguish it must cost him, Kit thought with shame, to have to sit here and pass judgment on a member of his own household. At the opposite end of the table sat the 2 ministers, Reverend John Woolbridge and Dr. Gershom Bulkley, both famed for their relentless sermons against witchcraft. Kit's heart sank. There was no one in the whole room, save her uncle, who would speak a word in her defense. William had not come. Captain Talcott rapped on the table, and a hush fell over the room. Good folk, we will proceed at once to the business at hand. We have come here in order to inquire and search into the matter of Mistress Catherine Tyler, lately of Barbados, who is accused by sundry witnesses of the practice of witchcraft. Mistress Tyler will come forward. Prompted by the constable's elbow, Kit got to her feet and moved haltingly across the room to stand facing the magistrate across the table. You will listen to the charge against you. A clerk read from a parchment, giving full weight and due to every awful word. Catherine Tyler, thou art here accused that not having the fear of God before thine eyes, thou hast had familiarity with Satan, the grand enemy of God and man, and that by his instigation and help thou hast in a preternatural way afflicted and done harm to the bodies and estates of sundry of his majesty's subjects, in the 3rd year of his majesty's reign, for which by the law of God and the law of the colony thou deservest to die. Wow. There was a murmur along the benches. Kit's hands felt icy, but she kept her eyes steadily on the magistrate. Mistress Tyler. Yeah, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy. Wow. Oh, wow. There was a murmur along the benches. Kit's hands felt icy, but she kept her eyes. She kept her eyes steadily on the magistrate. Mistress Tyler, you are accused by Adam Cruff with the following actions. Firstly, that you were the familiar friend and companion of the widow Hannah Tupper of Blackbird Pond, an alleged witch who has within the past week disappeared in a suspicious manner. Such friendship is a lawful test of guilt, inasmuch as it is well known that witchcraft is an art that may be learned and conveyed from one person to another, and that it has often fallen out that a witch, upon dying, leaveth some heir to her witchcraft. Secondly, that you are guilty of actions and works which infer accord with the devil, which have caused illness and death to fall upon many innocent children in this town. The clerk sat down. Captain Talcott eyed the girl before him. Quite plainly he had a distaste for the duty at hand, but his stern soldierly countenance did not soften. Mistress Tyler, he said, you have heard the complaints against you. We will proceed with the first accusation. Is it true that you were a friend and companion of the widow Tupper? For a moment, Kit feared that her voice would not come. Yes, sir, she managed shakily. Is it true that on sundry occasions during the summer you have entered her house and visited with her? Yes, sir. Is it true that you were also acquainted with a certain cat which the widow entertained as a familiar spirit? It was just an ordinary cat, sir, like any cat. You will answer yes or no. Is it true that you have engaged with the widow Tupper in various enchantments with the direct intent of causing mischief to certain people? Oh, no, sir. I don't know what you mean by enchantments. Do you deny that on a certain day in August last, on passing the pasture of Goodman Whittlesley, you cast a spell upon his cattle so that they were rooted to the ground where they stood and refused to answer his call or to give any milk on that evening? I don't understand, sir. How could I do such a thing? Goodman Whittlesley, will you repeat your complaint for this assembly? Crazy. Her head reeling, Kit stood helpless as, one after the other, they rose and made their complaints, these men and women whom she scarcely recognized. The evidence rolled against her like a dark wave. One man's child had cried aloud all night that someone was sticking pins into him. Another child had seen a dark creature with horns at the foot of her bed. A woman who lived along South Road testified that one morning Kit had stopped and spoken to her child, and that within 10 minutes the child had fallen into a fit and lain ill for 5 days. Another woman testified that one afternoon last September she had been sitting in the window sewing a jacket for her husband when she had looked up and seen Kit walking past her house, staring up at the window in a strange manner, whereupon, try as she would, the sleeve would not set right in the jacket. It was crazy. Can you imagine? And like they'll hang you for this. I mean, you have to sit there and listen to all these accusations. It's crazy. A man swore he had seen Kit and Goody Tupper dance round a fire in the meadow one moonlit night, and that a great black man, taller than an Indian, had suddenly appeared from nowhere and joined in the dance. Matthew Wood leaped suddenly to his feet. I protest this mockery, he roared in a voice that silenced every whisper. Not one word of this nonsense could be proved in the court of assistance. There is not one shred of lawful evidence in the lot. I beg you, Sam Talcott, make an end of it. Did I scare you? It's okay. Say hi. What's the matter? Do I infer that you are willing to vouch for your niece's good character, Matthew Wood? Certainly I will vouch for it. We are to understand, then, that these visits to the widow Tupper were taken with your approval? Taken aback, Matthew glared at the magistrate. No, I had no knowledge of them, he admitted. Did you ever, at any time, indicate to your niece that she was not to associate with this woman? Yes. I forbade her to go. What are you doing? I'm trying to read. See? I'm trying to read. Who's that? Who's that? Is that you? There's Kaden. Yeah. I forbade her to go. Then the girl has been disobedient and deceitful. Matthew clenched his fists in frustration. The girl has been thoughtless and headstrong at times, but her upbringing has been such as to encourage that. You admit that her education has been irregular? You can twist what I say as you will, Sam Talcott, said Matthew in steely anger, but I swear before all present, on my word as a free man of the colony, that the girl is no witch. We are obliged to listen to the testimony, Matthew, said Captain Talcott reasonably. I will thank you to keep silent. What is your opinion of the case, Dr. Bulkeley? Dr. Bulkeley cleared his throat. In my opinion, he said deliberately, it is necessary to use the greatest caution in the matter of testimony, since the unnatural events so far recounted appear to rest in each case upon the word of but one witness. The legality of any one of them is open to question. It is ridiculous to talk of legality, interrupted Matthew. There has not been one word spoken that makes sense. What is it? Oh. For the last few moments, Goodwife Cruff had been vehemently prodding her husband. He rose now obediently. Sir, I've summat to say as makes sense, he announced, assuming a bold tone, and there's more than one witness to prove it. I've got summat here as was found in the widow's house that night. With a sinking heart, Kit watched as he drew an object from his pocket. It was not the horn book, as she expected. I thought it would be too. It was the little copybook. At sight of it, Goodwife Cruff's anger burst through all restraints. Look at that, she demanded. What do you say about that? My Prudence's name written over and over. 'Tis a spell, that's what it is. A mercy the child is alive today. Another hour and she'd have been dying like the others. The magistrate accepted the copybook reluctantly, as though it were tainted. Do you recognize this book, Mistress Tyler? Kit could barely stand upright. She tried to answer, but only a hoarse whisper came out. Speak up, girl, he ordered sharply. Does this book belong to you? Yes, sir, she managed. Did you write this name? Kit could barely swallow. She had vowed she would never deceive her uncle again. Then, remembering, she looked back at the copybook. Yes, the name on the first line was in her own hand. Oh, sorry, I thought she was talking. Yes, the name on the first line was in her own hand, large and clear for Prudence to copy. Yes, sir, she said, her voice loud with relief. I wrote the name. Matthew Wood passed a hand over his eyes. He looked old and ill as he had looked that day beside Mercy's bed. Why would you write a child's name over and over like that? I can't tell you, sir. Captain Talcott looked perplexed. There are no other children's names here, he said. Why did you choose to write the name of Prudence Cruff? Kit was silent. Mistress Tyler, the magistrate spoke to her directly. I had considered this morning's inquiry merely a formality. I did not expect to find any evidence worthy of carrying to the court. But this is a serious matter. You must explain to us how this child's name came to be written. Are you going? Where are you going? Are you going to go play? No? Changed your mind. All right. As Kit looked back at him mutely, the restraints that held the tensely waiting crowd gave way. Men and women leaped to their feet, screaming, She won't answer! That proves she's guilty! She's a witch. She's as good as admitted it. We don't need a jury trial. Put her to the water test. Hanging's too good for her. In the midst of the pandemonium, Gershom Bulkley quietly reached for the copybook, studied it carefully, and turned a shrewd, deliberate eye upon Kit. Then he whispered something to the magistrate. Captain Talcott nodded. Silence, he barked. This is the colony of Connecticut. Every man and woman is entitled to a trial before a jury. This case will be turned over to the General Session in Hartford. The inquiry is dismissed. Hold a minute, Captain, called a voice. A commotion near the door had been scarcely noticed. There's a fellow here says he has an important witness for the case. Every voice was suddenly stilled. Almost paralyzed with dread, Kit turned slowly to face a new accuser. On the threshold of the room stood Nat Eaton, slim, straight-shouldered, without a trace of mockery in his level blue eyes. Nat! The wave of joy and relief was so unexpected that she almost lost her balance. But almost instantly it drained away and left a new fear, for she saw that beside him, clinging tightly to his hand, was Prudence Cruff. Goodwife Cruff let out a piercing scream. Take her out of here! The witch will put an evil eye on her! She and her husband both started forward. Stand back, ordered the magistrate. The child is protected here. Where is the witness? Nat put his hands on the child's shoulders and gently urged her forward. With one trusting look up at his face, Prudence walked steadily toward the magistrate's table. Suddenly Kit found her voice. Oh, please, sir, she cried, the tears rushing down her face. Let them take her away. It is all my fault. I would do anything to undo it if I could. I never meant any harm, but I'm responsible for all of it. Please, take me to Hartford. Do what you want with me, but oh, I beg you, send Prudence away from this horrible place. The magistrate waited till this outburst was over. 'Tis a trifle late to think about the child, he said coldly. Come here, child. Kit sank on her knees and buried her face in her hands. The buzz in the room roared like a swarm of bees around her head. Then there was a waiting hush. She could scarcely bear to look at Prudence, but she forced herself to raise her head. The child was barefoot, and her snarled hair was uncovered. Her thin arms under the skimpy jumper were blue with cold. Then Kit stared again. There was something strange about Prudence. Will you stand there, child, in front of the table? Captain Talcott spoke reassuringly. Sorry, he's so noisy. You're so noisy. Yeah? Watching Prudence, Kit suddenly felt a queer prickling along her spine. There was something different about her. The child's head was up. Her eyes were fastened levelly on the magistrate. Prudence was not afraid. We will ask you some questions, Prudence, said the magistrate quietly. You will answer them as truthfully as you possibly can. Do you understand? Yes, sir, whispered Prudence. Do you know this young woman? Oh, yes, sir. She is my teacher. She taught me to read. You mean at the dame school? No, I never went to the dame school. Then where did she teach you? At Hannah's house in the meadow. A loud scream from Goodwife Cruff tore across the room. You mean Mistress Tyler took you to Hannah Tupper's house? The first time she took me there. After that, I went by myself. The little weasel, cried Goodwife Cruff. That's where she was all those days. I'll see that girl hung. It is all over, thought Kit with a wave of faintness. Gershom Bulkeley still held the little copybook. He spoke now under his breath and passed the book to Captain Talcott. Have you ever seen this book before? The magistrate questioned. Oh, yes, sir. Kit gave it to me. I wrote my name in it. That's a lie, cried Goodwife Cruff. The child is bewitched. Oh. Captain Talcott turned to Kit. Is it true, he asked her, that the child wrote her own name in this book? Kit dragged herself to her feet. 'Tis true, she answered dully. I wrote it for her once, and then she copied it. You can't take her word for anything, protested Goodman Cruff timidly. The child don't know what she's saying. I might as well tell it. Careful, baby. Prudence has never been what you'd call bright. She never could learn much. The magistrate paid no attention. Could you write your name again, do you think? I think so, sir. He dipped the quill pen carefully in the ink and handed it to the child. Leaning over the table, Prudence set the pen on the copybook. For a moment there was not a single sound in the room but the hesitant scratching. Goodman Cruff was on his feet, propelled by a curiosity greater than any awe for the magistrate. He came slowly across the room and peered over his child's shoulder. Is that proper writing? He demanded in unbelief. Prudence Cruff, does it say, write out as it should? The magistrate glanced at the writing and handed the copybook to Gershom Bulkeley. Very proper writing, I should say, Dr. Bulkeley commented, for a child with no learning. The magistrate leaned to take the pen out of the small fingers. Goodman Cruff tiptoed back to the bench. The bluster was gone from him. He looked dazed. Now, Prudence, the magistrate continued, you say the Mistress Tyler taught you to read? What sort of reading? Goodwife Cruff rose in a frenzy. Magic signs and spells, I tell you. The child would never know the difference. Gershom Bulkeley also rose to his feet. That, at least, will be easy to prove, he suggested reasonably. What can you read, child? I can read the Bible. Dr. Bulkeley picked up the great Bible from the stable and turned the pages thoughtfully. Then, moving to hand the book to Prudence, he realized it was too heavy for her to hold and laid it carefully on the table beside her. Read that for us, child, beginning right there. Kit held her breath. Was it the tick of the great clock that sounded so frightening, or her own heart? Then across the silence came a whisper. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and in instructions and understanding. The childish voice slowly gained strength and clarity till it reached every corner of the room. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wish child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. In the warm rush of pride that swelled up in her, Kit forgot her fear. For the first time she dared to look back at Nat Eaton where he stood near the door. Across the room their eyes met, and suddenly it was as though he had thrown a line straight into her reaching hands. She could feel the pull of it, and over its taut span strength flowed into her, warm and sustaining. When finally she looked away, she realized that everyone in the room was staring at the two parents. They had both leaned forward, their mouths open in shock and unbelief. As she listened, Goodwife Cruft's face darkened and her eyes narrowed. Crazy. Her little girl's reading from the Bible. It seems like you'd be proud. She saw now that she had been tricked. The fresh anger that was gathering would be vented on her child. On the father's face, a new emotion seemed to be struggling. As the thin voice ended, Goodwife Cruft drew in her breath through her teeth in a venomous hiss, but before she could release it, her husband sprang forward. "Did you hear that?" he demanded widely of everyone present. All at once his shoulders straightened. "That was real good reading. I'd like to see any boy in this town do that." Aw, he's proud of her. Her daddy's proud. That's cute. That's sweet. He's proud of her. "It's a trick," denied his wife. "That child could never read a word in her life. She's bewitched, I tell you." "Hold your tongue, woman," shouted her husband unexpectedly. Ah, wow. He's so proud he's going to be the man. I'm going to stand up to the witch. Oh, no, wrong choice of words. "I'm sick and tired of hearing about Prudence being bewitched. All these years you've been telling me our child was half-witted. Why, she's smart as a whip. I bet it wasn't much of a trick to teach her to read." Goodwife Cruft's jaw dropped. For one moment she was struck utterly dumb, and in that moment her husband stepped into his rightful place. There was a new authority in his voice. "All my life I've wished I could read. If I'd had a son, I'd have seen to it he learned his letters. Well, this is a new country over here, and who says it may not be just as needful for a woman to read as a man? Might give her something to think about besides witches. Oops. And foolishness. Any rate, I got someone now to read the good book to me of an evening, and if that's the work of the devil, then I say 'tis a mighty queer thing for the devil to go working against himself." It's cute. The magistrate had not interrupted this speech. There was a glint of amusement in his eye as he asked, "I take it then, Goodwin Cruft, that you withdraw your charges against this young woman? You serious?" "Yeah?" "Yes," he answered loudly. "Yes, I'll withdraw the charges." "Adam Cruft," his wife had found her voice, "have ye lost your senses? The girl has bewitched you too." In the back of the room someone tittered. A man's laugh rang out. Was it Nat's? All at once, like a clap of thunder, the tension of the room broke into laughter that shook the timbers and rattled the windows. "Uh-oh." "What? What's uh-oh? Did you drop something?" "Uh-oh." Every man in the room was secretly applauding Adam Cruft's declaration of independence. Even the magistrate's stern lips twitched slightly. "There seems to be no evidence of witchcraft," he announced when order had been restored. "The girl has admitted her wrong in encouraging a child to willful disobedience. Beyond that, I cannot see that there is any reasonable charge against her. I pronounce that Mistress Catherine Tyler is free and innocent." But suddenly, Goodwife Cruft's anger found a new outlet. "That man," she shrilled, "isn't he the seaman, the one who was banished for setting fire to houses? 30 lashes they promised him if he showed his face here again." There was renewed uproar. The constable looked to the magistrate for orders. Captain Talcott hesitated, then shrugged his shoulders. "Arrest him," he snapped. "The sentence still stands." "Oh, no," Kit pleaded in alarm. "You cannot arrest him when he only came back to help me." With a shrewd look at his niece, Matthew Wood interceded for her. "'Tis the truth, Sam," he observed. "The lad risked the penalty to see justice done. I suggest you remit the sentence." "A good suggestion," agreed the magistrate, relieved to have an end to the matter. But Nat had slipped out of the room, and his half-hearted pursuers reported not a single trace of him. "They won't find him," a voice whispered in Kit's ear. A small hand crept into hers. "He's got a fast little pinnacle hidden on the riverbank. He told me to say goodbye to you if he had to hurry away." "Prudence." Kit's knees had suddenly turned to water. How did it all happen?" He came and found me this morning. He said he got worrying about you and came back and sort of spied around till he heard about the meeting. He said I was the only one could save you, and he promised he would stay right here and help as long as we needed him. Oh, I'm so grateful to both of you. Uh-oh. Kit's tears started again. And I'm so proud of you, Prudence. Will you... You're so noisy. Mwah. Uh-oh. Will you be all right, do you think? She will be all right. Goodman Cruff, coming to claim his daughter, had overheard. Time somebody looked after her so she won't need to run off anymore. Next summer she'll go to your school, like I always wanted. Goodwife Cruff, the magistrate called back the departing woman, I remind you that the penalty for slander is heavy, a fine of 30 pounds or 3 hours in the stocks. Mistress Tyler would be within her rights to press her own charges. Yeah. Oh, no, gasped Kit. Matthew Wood stood beside her. Let us make an end of this, he said. We have no desire to press charges. With your permission, Captain, I shall take Catherine home. Yeah. Well, that is the end of the chapter. This was an extra long one, so I hope everybody isn't missing out on other plans. But, yeah, we were kind of invested. This was the exciting part. Let me see how much more, because that was chapter 19, and there's chapter 20. It's almost over. Now, I do have a question. 21. Oh, there's only 2 more chapters. 2 more days and it's over. And then I did get the whipping boy for Benny, but that'll only take a few days because it's short. Like it's a kind of a children's book, but it's funny and we'll have fun with it. But what do you guys want? What do you want me to read? I mean, you know, we can go with all old classics like you know, you could go Jane Austen, or we could just do random stuff. We could do more, you know, modern. I mean, you know, you do Harry Potter if you want to do. Nobody could do it better than Jim Dale, so that would be stupid. But any suggestion from you guys? Anybody who has a book they want, tell me, and we'll get it. I found this used book place on eBay, and they had books for like $4 free shipping, $5. So I did order one called Evelina, and I love that book, and it's long. It's a long book. Hey, calm down. But it was written in the 1600s or the 1700s. It's so cute. It was written by a woman way back in the day. And I like it. It's one of my favorites, but it's hard to understand. Now, because I'm very familiar with it, I can kind of explain it as we go, and I will do that one after if you guys want. But any suggestions? You guys tell me if there's anything in particular you want me to read, and we'll get it and read it, because I'm just, we're just going to go through book after book. We're almost done with this one. Anyway, any suggestions? Put them in the comments. Think about it. If there's anything you want, request it, and we'll do it. We'll get it. But we are, so I guess in 3 days, because we're going to be done with this one in 2 days. In 3 days, I'll do the whipping boy, but that'll only take 3 or 4 days, and then we'll be done with that one. So we could do Evelina after that, or you guys could request something else. So let me know, and we'll see you tomorrow for chapter 20, I think, right? Chapter 20. Love y'all. Thanks for coming. Bye.